There is something strange I have never told anyone before. Not because I forgot, but because even now, saying it out loud still makes my skin crawl. It began the night I moved into the last rental room at the end of the corridor. The hallway leading to it was longer than the others, and for some reason, the lights there were always dimmer. Even during the day, that part of the building felt colder, quieter, as if sound itself didn't want to linger. When I arrived with my luggage, the other tenants avoided eye contact. A few of them glanced at me, then
This
quickly
is the
looked
last
away.
time I'm telling you
I
about
told
the noise.
myself I was imagining things. Before giving me the key, the landlady studied my face for a long time. Too long. Her eyes moved slowly, as if she were memorizing me. Then she said something that didn't feel like a joke. "If you hear someone calling your name at night," she said, her voice low, "stay where you are. Don't answer, no matter how familiar the voice sounds." I laughed awkwardly and nodded, assuming she was just superstitious. At that moment, I didn't know that some warnings aren't meant to scare you, but to keep you alive. That night, I unpacked slowly. The room was small but clean. One bed, one desk, one door. The window faced a narrow alley where no light ever seemed to reach. By the time I lay down, exhaustion pulled me into sleep almost immediately. I don't know what time it was when I woke up. The room was completely silent. Too silent. The kind of silence that makes you aware of your own breathing. Then I heard it. Someone was calling my name, softly, carefully, as if they were afraid of waking someone else. What made my blood turn cold wasn't the voice itself, but the fact that it sounded exactly like mine. Same tone, same rhythm, same slight hesitation at the end of my name. It called once, then again, each time closer. I lay perfectly still, my heart pounding so hard I was sure it could be heard. I told myself it was a dream, sleep paralysis, anything but what it felt like. Then the doorknob moved, just a little. There was no sound of the door opening, only a faint metallic click, as if someone were slowly testing whether it was locked. I stopped breathing. I pulled the blanket over my head, squeezing my eyes shut. That was when I heard the breathing, heavy, slow, right beside my bed. It felt close enough that if I reached out, I would touch something warm or cold. I didn't know which terrified me more. I don't remember falling asleep again. But when morning came, the sunlight felt unreal, like it didn't belong in that room. I confronted the landlady immediately. She listened without interrupting. Then she lit an incense stick and placed it near the doorway. Only after the smoke began to rise did she speak. The previous tenant, she said, had been a quiet man, kept to himself, rarely spoke. He stayed up late every night. One morning, neighbors noticed a smell. When they forced the door open, they found him dead inside the room. The door had been locked from the inside. His face, she said, was frozen in terror. After that, strange things began happening. Every tenant who stayed in that room heard voices, familiar ones, voices they trusted. Some answered, some opened the door. None of them stayed longer than a week. I wanted to leave immediately, but something stopped me. Maybe pride, maybe disbelief, maybe curiosity. I told myself I could handle a few more nights. That was my mistake. From then on, I noticed patterns. Every night, exactly 10 minutes before midnight, the temperature dropped sharply. My phone would shut off, no matter how full the battery was. The clock on the wall would freeze, its second hand stuck between ticks. And always, I felt watched. The darkest corner of the room seemed deeper than the others, like the shadows there had waited. Sometimes I thought I saw movement, but whenever I looked directly at it, there was nothing, until the night it spoke again. It was raining hard outside. The sound should have drowned everything out, but the voice cut through it easily. This time it didn't call my name. It whispered. It said it was lonely. It said it had been waiting a long time. It said it was cold and dark, and that it only wanted someone to talk to. My mouth opened. I don't know why. Maybe because the voice sounded so tired, so human. Just before a sound escaped my lips, I remembered the landlady's warning. I bit down hard, tasting blood, and forced myself to stay silent. The whisper turned into crying. The crying turned into laughter. A dry, broken laugh that echoed around the room, bouncing off the walls, pressing in from every direction. The door began to shake, not violently, but steadily, as if something were leaning its full weight against it. I didn't move until morning. I left that day. When I returned the key, the landlady didn't ask questions. She only nodded. As I stepped outside, she called after me one last time. "The one who died in that room," she said quietly, "still doesn't know he's dead." Even now, years later, I can't stay alone after midnight, because sometimes, when everything becomes too quiet, I hear my own voice behind me, softly calling my name.